The next iPad Pro could finally stop acting like a sprint machine and start performing like a true laptop. The new report points to an iPhone 17 Pro cooling feature coming to the iPad Pro and 6. That one change targets the biggest weakness: sustained power, long renders, heavy games, no slowdowns. The problem with the current iPad Pro report is simple. The hardware looks unstoppable. The body is unbelievably thin at about 0.20 inches. The chip power is wild for a tablet, but heat always collects fast in a body that's slim. When the device heats up, performance drops. That drop has a name: thermal throttling, and it matters more than any single benchmark headline. Here is the proof that makes this exciting. In testing, the Apple M5 in the iPad Pro runs about 8% slower than the same class chip in the new 14-inch MacBook Pro. That is not because the silicon is weaker. That gap comes from heat and the limits of passive cooling. Now stretch that out to real life. Export a big 4K project. Compile code for a long session. Run a high-end game for 40 minutes. You will see the same pattern. The iPad starts strong. Then it slides back to protect itself. That is the wall. This is where the new report lands like a thunderclap. Bloomberg says Apple plans 2 major upgrades for the next iPad Pro generation. First, the Apple M6 should move to an advanced 2nm process, which should boost efficiency compared with the 3nm Apple M5. Second, Apple reportedly wants to bring over a cooling approach used in the iPhone 17 Pro, a vapor chamber. If that sounds like a small part, it is not. A vapor chamber changes how heat spreads. Instead of concentrating heat near the chip and letting hot spots form, the chamber helps move heat across a wider area. That keeps peak temperatures lower. That keeps clocks higher. That keeps performance steady. You usually see this in devices built for sustained loads. High-end gaming laptops. Premium phones that push graphics hard. So seeing it discussed for a future iPad Pro signals something big. Apple wants sustained performance to become the headline, not the footnote. The iPhone 17 Pro example is the clue Apple wants everyone to notice. With more efficient cooling from a vapor chamber, the smartphone processor can reportedly use up to 15% more power. That doesn't mean it runs hotter in a dangerous way. It means the cooling system can remove heat faster, so the chip can stay in its faster range longer. Throttling still happens, but it is less severe than before. Now scale that idea up to a larger device. A tablet has more internal space than a phone. It has more surface area to spread heat. If Apple applies a similar cooling approach inside a bigger chassis, the upside could be even more dramatic during long sessions. This is the part that gets people whispering the phrase everyone keeps circling: the MacBook replacement. Not because the iPad will suddenly become a notebook in shape, but because the main technical excuse has been sustained performance. When loads last longer than a short burst, a notebook tends to pull away. Cooling is the reason. Give the iPad a better thermal system, and the gap shrinks fast. Now stack that on top of the Apple M6 moving to 2nm. Smaller process nodes generally mean better performance per watt. More work with less energy, less wasted heat. That pairs perfectly with a vapor chamber. Efficiency keeps heat down. Better cooling keeps clocks up. Together, you get the same feeling that makes laptops feel powerful. They stay fast. So what will that mean in daily use? It should show up in the task people actually notice. First, video, long exports, multiple streams, heavy effects. You want the device to hold speed for the entire render, not just the first 2 minutes. Second, gaming. The iPad has the screen, the speakers, and the raw graphics capability. The limiter has been heat after sustained DPU load. Stronger cooling means the frame rate stays closer to its peak for longer. Third, creative work that hits both the CPU and GPU together. Photo batches, 3D work, live effects pipelines. Those mixed loads generate heat fast. That is where passive cooling struggles the most. Next, memory. The current iPad Pro lineup can feel strange. Some models come with 12 gigs of RAM. Higher storage tiers step up to 16 gigs. Many buyers hate that split because it ties performance headroom to storage cost. The chatter around the next generation points to a cleaner plan: 16 gigs of RAM as the standard. If that happens, it changes the value of the base model overnight. Better multitasking, more headroom for pro apps, more breathing room for whatever iPad OS becomes over the next few years. Put those pieces together: the more efficient chip, better sustained cooling, more unified high-end memory. That is the recipe for an iPad that feels less like a powerful tablet and more like a primary work machine. Now add another layer people overlook: connectivity upgrades. Reports point to updated wireless chips, often discussed as C2 or C2X. The name matters less than the result: faster Wi-Fi, more stable links, better performance in crowded places like airports, studios, and events. There is also a report about satellite connectivity arriving on an iPad. That feature has already appeared on iPhones. If it lands here, it turns the tablet into a safety tool in remote areas. No cell towers, no Wi-Fi, still able to send an emergency message. Even if most owners never use it, it changes how reliable the device feels. So what about the hardware design? Don't expect a dramatic new look. The current body already screams premium. Ultra thin, flat edges, a modern slab with a stunning panel. Reports suggest Apple will keep that design. Maybe a new color, maybe a finish tweak, but the real shift is inside. The display likely stays the same too, and that isn't a complaint. The tandem OLED approach already delivers deep blacks, bright highlights, and vivid color. Promotion keeps motion smooth. For a tablet, that screen already feels top tier. Speakers should stay strong as well. The current iPad Pro audio punches above its weight for a body this thin. Apple doesn't need to chase changes there if the focus is on pro performance. Now, the big question: why is Apple so focused on sustained power now? Look at the recent timeline. The 2024 model brought huge visible upgrades, including OLED and an ultra-thin chassis. Then the M5 generation felt smaller. Faster, yes, but not a dramatic shift in daily experience for most people. That creates a challenge for Apple. When a product already feels fast, buyers need a new reason to care. Cooling and sustained performance are perfect because they unlock power you already pay for. People don't just want peak speed, they want speed that stays. There is also a strategic angle. Apple keeps pushing pro workflows onto the tablet. External displays, desktop-class apps, keyboard cases, trackpads. If Apple wants more people to treat the iPad as their main computer, the device has to hold its own under long loads. A vapor chamber is a direct response to that. Now let's talk about the launch date, because everyone asks it. The current expectation points to the first half of 2027 for the iPad Pro with the Apple M6. That lines up with typical update spacing. It also gives Apple time to line up 2nm production and refine the new thermal design. That weight also matters because it frames the buying decision. If you need an iPad Pro now, the current models are still monsters for everyday use. But if you care about sustained workloads, it might be smart to watch this next cycle closely. Price is the next concern. Early chatter suggests pricing could stay stable, mainly because the external design and display may not change. Of course, parts like advanced cooling and a new process node are not cheap, but Apple often balances cost across the lineup. If base RAM jumps to 16 gigs, the value might climb even if the sticker price stays similar. Now bring it back to the headline claim. The iPad Pro M6 is getting an iPhone 17 Pro feature. The vapor chamber, that single piece, could be the missing link. People have been waiting for the moment the iPad stops sprinting and starts marathon running. When the workload lasts an hour, not a minute. When the device stays fast without flinching. If Apple delivers that, the iPad Pro finally earns the right to challenge the laptop for more people. Not everyone needs this. Many buyers browse, stream, and take notes. For them, even an older model feels instant. But for creators, editors, and anyone pushing heavy apps for long sessions, sustained performance changes everything. It means your device behaves the same at minute 5 and minute 50. So keep your eyes on these 3 signals as more reports land. The vapor chamber for real cooling gains, a 2nm chip for efficiency and performance per watt, and a standard 16 gigs memory tier to remove the lineup confusion. If those 3 arrive together, the next iPad Pro will not just be thin and fast, it will be consistent. And consistency is what turns a powerful tablet into a true daily work machine. The iPad Pro has had the power for years, but heat has held it back. The Apple M6 and a vapor chamber could finally fix sustained performance. Add a more efficient 2nm process and stronger baseline memory, and the tablet starts competing with laptops for real work. Early 2027 now feels like a date to watch. Do one thing right now. Think about your longest task on an iPad. The render, a game, or a huge edit. Tell me which workload slows down first for you and why. I will read the comments and follow up. See you in the next one. Goodbye.